Hello, and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Friday and Saturday, August 22nd and 23rd, 2025 by Gaia Blooming. I'm Mimi, and our energy mantra for today is, in a world that is shaped by me, I bring love to the reality. Okay, so we have some big shifty energies going on. We have the sun today moving out of Leo into Virgo. That's going to happen at 1:34 p.m. Pacific time. And then we have a new moon happening late tomorrow, or late this evening, early tomorrow, depending where you live. It's actually going to be happening 11:06 p.m. Pacific time. And then we have some yachting going on with the sun and the moon newly in Virgo. And these energies are like, whoa. This is also setting us up for eclipse season. Now, a lot of people think eclipse season is like the first eclipse, the 2 weeks, and then the next eclipse. But it really, the building is happening. And this new moon that we're working our way into is a big piece of it. So I usually like to meditate before before we shift seasons from Leo season into Virgo season, before we shift signs. And I was thinking about it as I was trying to get things done today, and it was so instant. It just was what's going to be the theme for sun in Virgo? And the theme is around the energy of reality. Virgo can represent our everyday reality, and that includes a lot of things. Virgo is definitely in charge of a lot of things. This can include our physical body. This can include our health. This can include the work that we do. This can include the services that we offer. This can include how we see and experience the world. We may have a little work happening while this goes on. So if you're hearing the hammering, we're going to work with it. But Virgo is interesting. Virgo is part of the mutable signs, which means it's changeable. And Virgo is ruled by the sign of Mercury. And Mercury is very mercurial. It's very changeable. Now, if you think about Virgo, sometimes it doesn't seem like Virgo would like that. Virgo can get stuck in certain ways of thinking. And we all have a place where Virgo sits in our chart, where we can get stuck in a certain way of thinking. But I feel like this Virgo season, with a new moon at 0 degrees Virgo and some yachty stuff happening and an eclipse coming at the final degree of Virgo, I think Virgo's getting a new look. I think Virgo's getting a new do. And all of us get to shift how we work with these Virgo energies. So many of us know Virgo to be critical. Virgo can definitely bring forth our inner critic. I often like to compare Virgo to something I loved as a child. I think it was on Sesame Street. It was one of these things is not like the other. And Virgo is an expert at that, being this belongs, this belongs, this belongs, this doesn't belong, this doesn't fit in. Virgo is an amazing editor. It can always connect in and see what is not in place, what doesn't fit. And you know what? That's needed. I think this is one reason why Virgo can be the healer, because Virgo's here's where there's the anomaly. Here's where this energy is not working. Now, the higher level of Virgo can see things as whole. Virgo is known as the Virgin. And what this actually has to do with is to be whole and holy in and of oneself. It doesn't really have anything to do with sexuality, which is what we've taken and made that to mean. But that's not really what Virgo energy is about. And so Virgo can see, okay, this is not in its whole state at this moment. But the higher level of Virgo can actually see the perfection and see moving into the wholeness and the holiness. And so that's what we want to work with the Virgo energy, shifting reality. obviously we're all really good at seeing, like, I don't like this. This reality unfolding right now. I'm not really a fan. It's a little challenging, right? It definitely needs some healing. And Virgo energy is a reminder to us, can we see it in its whole state? Can we see it in its wholly, even as it's in this evolution? And so I feel like this is what this new moon at 0 degrees, 0 is so powerful. If you have something at 0 in your chart, there's a good chance that you are challenged by it, but it's a call for transformation. It's a call to up level. And so this new moon at Virgo 0 is saying, hey, we all have to transform. We have to empower how we are looking at reality, remembering that we're creating it. We're all part and parcel, the creators building this energy. And if we get stuck in seeing it in all these ways that we do not like, we are going to continue to see that. This is why we build from Leo to Virgo, because Leo reminds us to have courage, to bring heart. So when I talk about Virgo and its holiness, I always love to include the heart piece. Virgo energy, body, mind, spirit, soul, and heart working together to bring about creation into form. So this is really, really powerful energy. Now, the other thing that's making this new moon extra powerful is, like I said, this new moon is being squared and yoded. It's very connected. I do think that the yod, which is like, it's a big neon finger in the sky. You won't see the neon finger literally, but you know, use your imagination. Come on, Virgo, we can do this, right? It's like, this is important, and it's pointing at this new moon, and it's saying, Pluto and Aquarius, we can alter, shift, transform, empower the vibrational energy on this planet to bring shift into reality. And then we have Neptune, which is like, use your illusion, dude. We have Neptune and Saturn feeding into this. Now, Saturn in Aries is an interesting piece in this. Saturn in Aries, along with Chiron in Aries and Neptune in Aries, is helping us remember who we are. And it's interesting because Saturn is currently at 0, so it's also undergoing this transformation energy. But I feel like this is part of where we're struggling, because what is needed for this transformation is for us to bring forth our most authentic selves, our most authentic and authoritative selves, authority on ourselves, right? Like, this isn't about being an authority to somebody else and being like, no, you shouldn't do this, my way is better. It's not about that. It's being in your own personal agency energy. And so this energy is feeding into this new moon. This is powerful. There's also a square. Cue my symbols that I don't have. One day, maybe, I will just have symbols here and I'll be like, psh. Although that would probably be loud, but I like sound effects. Cue, yeah, Uranus squaring this energy. Now, it's at 1 degree, working alongside of Pluto energy. But in this square, Uranus and Gemini is reminding us things have to change. Specifically, our mind, how we think about things and how we communicate about things needs to change as a big part of this shift. So this energy is powerful. And Virgo, with this new moon, Virgo is getting the wake-up call, but the Virgo in all of us is also getting this wake-up call that it is time to bring about change. And again, we are the change. We have to be the change. And the morning of Leo, the first half of the day in Leo, is reminding us, like, put a little love in your heart. Bring that love energy. It is going to take courage to move through these energies. I want to remind everybody during Virgo season to pay attention to your body, to pay attention to your health, to love yourself through these energies. That's part of the change. And just being able to see when we move into critical mode about our reality, but also about ourselves in reality. And see where, like, okay, there might be this critical energy, might be a call to change, but how can we bring love and surround this energy in love? Because I'm telling you, that's going to make it a lot easier. So it's not like that's the only stuff that's happening, right? This sun in Virgo, new moon in Virgo. We also have some other astro energies that are taking us through this new moon. Now, let me remind you that new moons are great for setting and building new intentions. And so be intentional with your communications. Virgo energy can bring focus. So see where you can focus on allowing your seeds, your intentions to take root and be grown with love. That being said, we do have Venus squaring Chiron today as well. And so we may have some weird feelings coming up. And this may be around ourselves. It might be some, Venus can bring up worth stuff. You may feel some worth stuff. Chiron is in Aries. We're coming out of Leo. This may have some inner child connotations. Be aware of that. Face that. Address that. Be present with it. Virgo, as an earth sign, can bring presence. And I think that so much of what we're experiencing right now on the planet could use presence. On Saturday, early Saturday, has that Moon Uranus square happening early in the morning. If you are out and about, please remember to ground yourself. That's part of what we want to do during Virgo, ground ourselves in reality. We also have that Sun Saturn in conjunction happening on Saturday, and we might feel weird about being who we are in this reality. I know sometimes, like, I am overall a joyful, silly person, and it can feel hard to feel joyful and silly, or even express joyful silliness when there's so much happening in reality that doesn't feel joyful or silly. And yet I know it's needed. I also know that it's part of who I am. It's encoded in my chart. This is one reason why it's beautiful to know your chart, because you're like, okay, silly human, like, go forth and be a Muppet. Like, be silly. The YOD energy also continues into Sunday. So the YOD energy is going to continue as the Sun and Neptune connect on Sunday morning, and the Sun and Pluto connect later on Sunday afternoon. And that Sun-Pluto energy, oof, it's going to be your mind over here, and you're feeling the vibes over here, and you're like, oh my gosh, how am I going to work with these energies? That's part of the yods, are these inconjuncts that we don't know how to work together, but it's finding our way through these things and working with these weird combinations that brings about alchemy and magic. And so be aware of that. I, of course, will be doing write-ups, but I wanted to touch upon all of that because it's an interesting astro weekend. I also want to remind you that once the sun moves into Virgo, we will be in zero. And zero energy is wonky. So if you're feeling wonky again in reality, take time to ground, connect in, root in, and breathe. And breathe through it. Because it's going to be okay, but breathing can help bring presence. I have decided for season of Virgo to use the herbal astrology cards, and I pulled passion flower for these energies. And passion flower brings the energy of surrender. It can help us with the ego, which is really interesting. And speaking of that, I didn't even mention the Sabian symbols, which I thought were so interesting. The Sabian symbols for this new moon. So there's something that happens with the Sabian symbols. They don't have a Sabian symbol for zero. They have Leo 30, which is technically zero, and then they have Virgo 1. So I'm reading both. Leo 30, The Sabian symbol for that is an unopened letter. And I thought of that like Schrodinger's cat, right? Like anything can be contained in the letter. And that's what zero energy brings. Like the possibilities for the transformation are endless. What is in the letter for you? What do you want to open up and find? And you can bring that into your life and your intentions, but you can also bring that into this reality energy. The Sabian symbol for Virgo 1 is a portrait of a man with the significant features of his head artistically emphasized, basically. And I thought it was interesting that it's the head, because the head can really rule Virgo energy. But it reminds me that everything is of perspective. We do not see things as they are. We see things as we are. And I think in our creation energy, remembering that and knowing that we can transform how we see things, and that can make and bring massive shift. So I wanted to bring that forward. And this card reminded me with the crucifixion of the ego. There's a all-seeing double-headed owl. Again, perspective energy is brought forward with that. Goddess Passionflower brings unseen truths as she performs rituals for letting go. Owl is symbolic of discernment and the able to light up what's needed to be seen. All sounds very Virgo. And Passionflower can reflect the need to suspend actions that aren't aligned with your path. Are there certain decisions or actions that you've made that you must sacrifice in order to reassess your direction? Honor your intuition. What I think with Passionflower is Passionflower can be very calming, and I know when we have mental transits, and this is going to be some mental energy with Sun and Virgo and all of this energy going on, that a lot of times my mind just likes to and whir. Oh, I haven't even showed you these cards yet. And so Passionflower can be calming for that. I can't believe I didn't show you this. Okay, so top of the cards, I know this is a long one, but this is a lot of energy. Top of the cards, we have courage, reminding us to stay heart-centered. And we have the creator energy, and reminding us, like, we have the power to create, but can you create from that heart-centered place? And if we can, look, we have this harmony energy right here. Connected, mind and heart working together. Understanding, being understanding for ourselves, bringing compassion, and not thinking that we know it all and really help that process. But the final card is politics, which I think is really interesting, and it's a 7 card, and 7 cards are always cards of illusion. The politics, what's unfolding, oh my gosh, it's ghastly, right? And yet, what if it's all an illusion? What if it's all an illusion in some ways, right? I mean, it's reality, but it's an illusion that's helping manipulate us to push us into these certain ways where we take back this role of power, this role of creator, and bring back harmony and bring back courage, bring back heart-centered energy. What if? What happens if we treat things like that and start living as if? This Virgo season is asking us to explore that. So, with that, I encourage you to book a reading, book an eclipse reading, or a regular reading. Email me, mimiclark@gmail.com. And the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power. And may your guiding light be strong. And know that you can trust the unfolding of your process. Namaste.